my fine friends, my fellow YouTubers. Um, the material on YouTube that's getting released. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot about that bullshit. I always do. The material that's getting released on YouTube right now is so toxic that I do not want to replay it. I do not want to touch it. All I can say is that um, Chantel is engaging in Darvo as well. Deflect, attack, reverse victim, offender. Um, I believe Yaba that she didn't know and that she divorced her husband. They found this out later and they have to be very delicate around the kids because that's their father. You know, there's a time and a place, and it's when they become adults that you explain what really happened. Even then, they can be traumatized by what they hear, right? I know I never said a nasty word about my ex husband to my son while he was growing up. And then when he was an adult, he had some questions about my ex, his father. At which point I did have to tell him, well, you know, he had a drug habit and he cheated on me. And so I filed for divorce because especially after I had my son, I was like, that's the most important thing right now is raising my child. And I can't have a creep around him, you know? There's a point at which you realize that somebody is um, toxic and that you have to get rid of them. Well, hello, everybody that just jumped in. Thank you, Bailey, for subscribing. Hi, Greg. Hi, Stings and Simicky23. Um, I agree with Yava. I think it's pretty horrific that that Chantel keeps bringing it up, especially to try and defend herself. Hi, Pro Jackson. Hi, Greg. My son is 30. I'm talking about something that happened many, many years ago. The Bears, hi. Pro Jackson. This is not going to be a political chat today. Well, thank you, McGee23. Um, I've gone through a lot of stuff in my lifetime. He's doing well. He's given me 3 grandchildren, Greg. He's given me three granddaughters, so he's doing well. Yeah. I'm only 50. I have three granddaughters. Anyway, point being is that the stuff Chantel has been putting online the last couple of days has been so toxic that I can't cover it. In good conscience, I cannot cover it because she is slandering another content creator, Yaba, while ignoring the criticisms about what we found out about her current husband and what we know about her ex boyfriend. Don't worry about the haters and uh, don't listen to the haters and worry about yourself. Yeah, well, I don't. I mean, I'm just commenting on what's happening. Merlona, hello. I'm just giving some commentary on like what's going on in girl world because like I said, it's so toxic. I really um can't dive into that. There's nothing about it, not the Timu haul, not the homemade cooking on a serving platter again. That if you can cover an entire serving platter with your meal is too big. Period. It's too big. She has to get some dinnerware and start using like human sized plates. But she's not going to listen to any of us, you know? Although I did notice in one of her more recent live streams that she repeated a lot of stuff from my live. For example, she decided she's going to stick to 2,200 calories. That was my recommendation, is that she should be at like 2,200. There was a couple other things. Um, that she needs to get some light shoes. I had suggested that she get some ballet slippers or some water socks rather than just being in socks on the treadmill. Tell me that you're watching me without telling me that you're watching me. Um, there were a few things in there that she said that indicated that she's been watching my lives. But I'm sorry, I can't condone this kind of behavior, Chantel. And so I'm not going to reward you by covering it. Oh, Duping Delight, how are you doing? That's nice of you to drop in. I'm not going to stay on long because I usually try and keep my live streams down to like a half hour. Um it's overcast, which is hard on my body. Like it never burned off. The normally it's a coastal eddy and like the middle of the day it will burn off and then I'm a bit more functional. I can get more things done. No kidding. I didn't know that, Duping Delight. Well, thank you for speaking up. I appreciate it because I don't know who's watching half of the time, you know? Um, I made some eggs sunny side up this morning, and I will tell you this. I learned this from MasterChef that in order to get the top cooked, you have to spoon the butter from the pan onto the top of your eggs so that the top of the eggs cook. Because I watched a competition. I think it was MasterChef. Was that the one that they had the four judges and Gordon Ramsay was one of them, but they also had that bald guy that liked to wear fancy sneakers? I think they had three or four judges. Okay. I appreciate it, Duping Delight. Thank you for stopping in. Greg, do you think that your grandchildren will have a successful future? Because I am a grandson of a 56-year-old woman and I'm an 11-year-old with I am an 11-year-old. If you're a child, you shouldn't be on YouTube. Do you want to restate that? If you're a child, you're not supposed to be on YouTube. I won't put up with that kind of bullshit, Greg. All right, he's gone. So, anyway, I did sunny side up today with a piece of toast. And I'm trying to get the courage up to do like a big cooking project. But with this kind of weather, it's really hard to get into the mood of wanting to do it. Um, yeah, it's gray. I usually use a lid on my frying pan. Well, I have done it that way as well. Duping Delight. Um, covering it with a lid and maybe even putting in like a teaspoon of water to create a steam. But I now am using a cast iron pan. So the way I'm cooking is a little bit different, right? It's a little more classic, down home. Um, but I've always wanted to have a cast iron pan. And for those of you who haven't worked with them before, they burn hotter. So you have to be really careful with your temps. Definitely different. Yes, I've seen them on YouTube. Cast iron can go in the oven too. So that's why you want to, like, if you're going to work with cast iron, you can start your meal like, I guess it would probably be good for like steak. That if you're first searing the fat off, right, around the edges of your steak while it's on stovetop, and then you need to cook it up, you can then put it in the oven in the same thing. Like you just move it, right? Yes, be good for casserole after browning the meat off. I'm trying to get up the courage to make a bolognese. I have three different um, bell peppers. One is green, one is yellow, one is trying to remember the color of the other one. Um, I know I did not get the red one because I had ordered 4 and I was delivered cherry tomatoes instead. Not that that's a problem. I can still use cherry tomatoes in this recipe, but I have 3. Yeah, I think it's probably orange, right? So I would slice out the top, pull the stem out, clean out the interior, slice it up, cut off all the white parts from the innards, and then dice it, right? So this is a big project. I'm going to need a lot of energy to do this. Then I have to chop up like a whole onion, which I do have a whole yellow onion. Um, Unlike Foodie, I have a garlic press. I don't just chop up my garlic, I press it. I press my garlic. So I'm going to have a garlic press. I have mushrooms that just need to be rinsed off. And then I've got the stewed tomatoes. I have some fresh tomatoes that I'm going to chop up. I'm going to blend them all together um, and put them in the pot over the vegetables. Then I've got Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, obviously, and I have, what am I forgetting? Because I know I'm forgetting bay leaves that need to go in, and trying to remember the whole thing. Oh yeah, wine. I bought a bottle of Merlot that's been sitting there for a while. Because I'm not a wine drinker. That's not really my thing. In fact, my mom brought over a bottle of white wine like a month ago that's still in my fridge, and I haven't touched it because it's too, I don't know. The alcohol content on wine is way too high for me. So, but I only use about the neck portion of the wine bottle, and it burns off while you're stewing everything, right? So it goes in the pot and stews on a low heat for at least 2 to 3 hours. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the meat. I've got breakfast sausage that will be sliced up and fried in that cast iron pan, and transferred to the pot. I have sweet Italian sausage and I have hot Italian sausage. So all 3 of those meats are going to go in, and then I put in the tomato mixture, and I have Hunt's paste to thicken it up a little bit because it starts getting a little too watery. So that is the plan, but it does take a lot of work. I don't know how to film it. I've been like trying to rack this up in my brain, Duping Delight, of how do I hold my camera while there are things that I need to do with both hands? You know? I'm just not entirely positive how I can actually film it. But I'm going to try and figure it out. Um, It's just, it's supposed to start raining tomorrow night too. So there's that. Um, you need to get a stand. It makes it easier. I know, but I'm really poor right now. I don't have any income coming in because I'm waiting for them to reach a settlement with me on my injury. I filmed some cooking. I used just a normal phone stand. I just don't have one, is the thing. I don't have a normal phone stand. Plus, it would take so long. Oh my God, it'd be. I do, but I don't really want you to donate to me like that. I'm not asking for money like that. Um, Plus, I don't want to get grouped in with Kalari. I'm just being real. I don't. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh my God, I had indigestion today. Please go fund me for $3,000. Mm. Um, yeah, I'm not great at editing. I need to I need to like figure out how to use the editing programs. One of the reasons I haven't actually like put in the effort for this stooping to light is that I am technically not supposed to make money right now. So, I haven't made a lot from YouTube, and you only have to report when you reach $500. I have not reached it yet. So I don't have to worry about the consequences of it affecting my settlement. You know what I'm saying? Because we're in the negotiation process currently. And I have an appointment tomorrow for a second opinion on nerve testing. So they're gonna poke me again in the back of my leg. Poke me all over the back of my leg again. Um, the first one that came in that I did a couple months ago, it was a couple months back, showed documented that I have permanent nerve damage in my left leg. You had that for an arm issue with that nerve testing. Um, I did too, actually. I had an arm injury about 25 years ago. Um, Fortunately, what happened is once I stopped getting poked and prodded by all the doctors and I could just relax, it started feeling better. And um, I didn't really have an issue anymore. But also, I stopped taking any jobs that required a lot of mouse work because clicking on a mouse repeatedly can cause repetitive stress injuries. I have dropped nerve in my elbow. They won't fix until the nerve is damaged, and so far it's not damaged enough. Hmm. You work with your hands and it makes it difficult. It can be. Because you need enough time to actually rest and let it repair. When I was put on medical leave for the first time for the arm injury, I had everything on the left side and my upper back and my neck was rock hard. It was so tense, it was rock hard. And that went on for at least 6 months. And I was super depressed. I had, what do you call that? When you have to stay up all night. I had to stay up all night. Are you able to use your other arm or no? No, it was my job for that one, for the arm injury. It was just the nature of my job because the supply program they were using was very click intensive, and they didn't have like keyboard shortcuts or anything like that. Whereas jobs I had had previously had a lot of keyboard action, which that doesn't bother me. I'm great at typing, you know. But for this one, the leg, um, I I was bit by an attack dog while I was training a canvasser. It's your right hand. Oh, you really need to use both. Yeah. All right. Have you filed a workers' comp claim? Because that's the best way to handle it. You put tiny crystals onto things like shoes. So you hold with one and work with the other. It's your own business. So you obviously can't do that. All right. Well, if it's your own business, did you at least give yourself a good healthcare plan? Wow. I feel for you. Any sort of like work related injuries are so hard. Um, I was looking at my leg the other day and I noticed that I still have like some skin that's kind of off where the dog bit me. And he bit me in the back of my knee, so it's not like an area that I can see really. There's certain areas of your body that you can't really see. You can reach, you can clean, but you can't see, you know? Yeah, struggled with the PC work. After I got the settlement for that injury, I spent about 6 months before I got a job. And that was enough to make me feel better. Oh, yes, and sensitive area too. I hope you get some healing on that or something that will help you. Well, I'm transferring my care out of the workers' comp system into my personal care provider because they have not been giving me anything that has helped. Like, I've done everything they asked. I did the MRI, I did the CT scan, I did the x rays, I have um, done acupuncture, I've done physical therapy multiple times. Twice in physical therapy, I had serious problems. Once they had to send me to the hospital because my blood pressure dropped down to 80 over 40. And we learned that my potassium level was at 2.1, which is death level. You're supposed to be at 3.5 to 4.5. So I've been pretty much on potassium supplements ever since, but it is a recurring problem for me. Then when I finally got medically released to go back to physical therapy, they put me in a super intensive program that was like 4 hours a day. And so I would come home every day and throw up. And some of the exercises they had me do would seize my muscles up. So I told them, look, we got to dial this back because it's too much for me. Plus, the handicap parking was way the hell on the other side of the building from their office. Like, you would think that handicap parking is supposed to be a convenience to get you closer to where you need to go, right? You have fibro. They wanted you to have an exercise plan, wasn't sustainable at all. So I said no thanks to that. Sometimes we either have to shop around for different physical therapists or we just have to do it ourselves at home, you know? Um, because we know our own bodies and we know what works, you know? So, plus, this this last one that they sent me to, they kept having me work on upper body strength, and my injury is my leg. They didn't have me do anything to fix my leg, to restore the strength in my leg. And I'm like, what are we doing this for? He's like, well, you need to be able to open doors and shit. I can open doors. I don't have a problem with that. That is not my issue. My issue is that I have a permanent limp and it's difficult for me to get up and down stairs. Why is this so hard? That's why, looking at these ladies that are complaining about their health issues, I'm just kind of like, girl, you don't even know. Yeah, you really have no clue what it is to actually be in real pain every single day, you know? And yet somehow I can still cook for myself, do my own laundry. You have lots and just plod on for sure. Yeah. Oh, you had a lung collapse in April and May, and still do all my own things. Wow, how did that? Were you sick? Did you like get COVID or something? It's just healed so much better. Now I just had to adapt. That sounds really painful. I don't know like what a lung collapse feels like exactly, but I imagine it makes it difficult to breathe, right? I have a genetic lung issue. My mom and sister do too. It causes cysts in my lungs, which then burst. and make it collapse. Yeah, pain and out of breath too. Wow. I have to be worried about the widowmaker artery. I think that's what they call it, the widowmaker artery, because apparently everybody in my family on my mother's side is having issues with that and having to go in and get stents. Fortunately, I have not had any issues so far, but they've been having heart attacks, you know. That's number 10 for me. I'm learning to deal with it as needed. This was a small, luckily, so it didn't need treatment. Okay. It's, it is a lot, but I'm not, even though I don't have money coming in right now, um, I have been somewhat depleting my 401k to make sure that I can pay my mortgage and stuff. My mortgage isn't too high considering where I live. I know Kalari likes to flex on her $50,000 property. Um, I'm paying something like 1440 per month on, and that's with the property taxes impounded into the payment. Um, for a property worth 750. So she could kiss my ass with her flexing. Anywho, I'm in the U.S. Dipping to light. I'm from Southern California. 401ks are a U.S. thing. That's what she says, and it's not even hers. It belongs to either her husband, boyfriend, partner, whatever he is to her, or his sister. It's a very confusing thing because her story keeps changing all the time. Well, I'm glad you're awake. Isn't it getting kind of late for you? You private rent. Most people do, I think. Um, it takes a large down payment to even get in. Um, I waited years before buying a condo. Oh, thank you. It's past midnight. Because I do have other friends that are in the UK, and one of them, he used to always chat with me somewhere around like 11:30 midnight my time, because that's when he was just getting up and getting ready for work. Anyway, I do need to wrap it up. Um, because I am gonna try and do this cooking project. Um, we'll see how the weather treats me. But I hope you all are doing well. And yeah, you can look at my community tab for updates on what's been going on with like Kalari and shit. So, it's not looking good for her. She did put out like a community post saying that she can stand on her own and on YouTube. I mean, don't we all stand on our own in YouTube? I mean, like, is that even a question of do we need to? have a bunch of allies and panels, and glad to have joined. Oh, yes, we have to pay a deposit and so much up front. Yeah. And you probably have to go out further from where you actually want to be. Glad to have joined. You hope you do well. I'll try to chat more to you. XX, take care, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I did a long report for her video. All right, I'll check it out. I'll take a look at your channel and check it out. Is it up as a video or is it a community post? At least she kind of didn't go ham crazy in her community post, but you know, it's like she assumed she needed to have a lot of alliances. Oh, you reported it for using long report form. Okay. I think I reported something on her as well. I can't remember what it was. I was asking my mom the other day. People were talking about jowls. I'm like, what are jowls? And she's like, that's when you have like these big fat spots that come down the gums. I'm like, I've never heard of that before. I my mom is slightly entertained by what I'm watching, but I do give it to her in small chunks, you know. Anyhow, you all take care. My channel's Jinx's Journey. This is my hiding out channel. I've a positivity channel there. Jinx Journey. Okay. All right, let me look that up. All right, you take care. Um, if you want some bedtime stories, check out Carl Hates Hiking. Love that guy's channel. I love that guy's channel. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Duping Delight. Good night.